It's Mike from The Offering, or as you know, from Pyro Radio, and I'm here with Powerglove with Nick, bassist,
Bassist here. Hello, how's it going?
and Bassil, the drummer.
Hello.
All right, how are you guys doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
Great, we just played the most violent show on the entire tour. Thank you very much, Chicago. There was a mosh pit the entire show, even when there was no music happening. And that was great. It just showed how much aggression and energy Chicago had riled up from the week, and like everyone just wanted to get drunk on a Saturday and fuck shit up, and
Oh, I did the same thing, but I couldn't make myself to the mosh pit, but I made myself to the Russian dance or Tetris, so
Nice.
it got me out of breath, but I made it.
Yeah, on this tour, it's since we're sandwiched in between a couple like nerdcore hip hop acts. I haven't been like telling people to do circle pits or mosh pits, so it's really cool when I just see people just do it on their own. Because I'm not, I'm trying not to. There's a few times that I tried to do it, and the crowd was just like, "Well, what are you talking about? What's a mosh pit?" Like, I've never done that before. I've also seen some crowds like when we played in Dallas on this tour. There's a really violent mosh pit that broke out right away, and there's these girls who could just tell have never seen a metal band play, and they were just like, "What the hell's going on? Get me out of here!" Ah! Like, she was so pissed, and then someone was like vomiting blood outside the show. It was rough.
Oh, yeah, Jesus, that's crazy.
But yeah,
Alright,
thank
so-
you, Chicago. It was a great show.
All right, so this tour has 2-3 MCs, and you're the only metal band at that.
Yep.
So how's this tour been going for you guys?
It's been going really well. It's definitely a different audience, and we could, definitely feel it both in the way they respond to different things and the way we interact with them. Because instead of being like the nerdy band on the bill when we're usually playing with metal bands, instead we're like the metal band on the bill because it's all nerdy acts, and we're the only like band. So it's very different, but it's really fun. It's been great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been cool. We're taking a different approach to this tour, and it actually feels a lot like the first tour we ever did, which was with a comedy metal band called Psychostick, and
I know that.
and it was a tour that felt more like this. It was more centered around comedy and like crowd interaction and entertainment, as opposed to just like circle pits and metal like let's go insane. Like so what Chris and I are doing a lot more. Chris, our guitarist, is doing a lot more of insulting each other on the stage, doing longer like our banter's longer, and we're just kind of like letting loose and having a little bit more fun, as opposed to just like trying to get the crowd to be violent the entire time. So it's cool. It's very it's different for us, and it's nice to do that because I was getting a little bit bored. Like I definitely wanted to tour with some different acts than just metal bands, as much as I love metal.
Yeah, you just mentioned Psychostick. I think that's a punk band. I think they're actually here from Chicago, but completely different how you are right now with a bunch of MCs on the tour. You guys did Summer Slaughter last summer.
Yep.
Did you guys enjoy that? And did you guys feel nervous about doing that? Because it's just a bunch of death metal acts, and you guys are just like, well, how you guys like to call yourself video game speed metal.
I wasn't nervous at all. I'll be honest, the one thing I was nervous about playing was the Pokemon theme song. I thought that like people were just gonna like, if they liked it before, they were just gonna be like, all right, no, I can't do this. Pokemon is taking it too far. But man, I gotta tell you, almost every single show, everyone knew the words. So the whole song, everyone was going insane, like more so than this tour. People were singing the Pokemon song way louder, and just like, just losing their minds. It was fun, and people got so drunk on Summer Slaughter. By the time we played, we're about the fifth band on the bill. People.
The halftime show.
Yeah, I mean, like
guys.
yeah, it was a good break, and I like the idea that Ash, who sets up Summer Slaughter, that he had to put us as a halftime show, and he got it from, I believe, it was a tour that I saw called Sounds of the Underground, about 2002 or 2003, and they had Guar as a special halftime show, and they kind of broke it up in between all these metal bands that played. And I guess you can consider us budget Guar. It's like, can't afford Guar, hire Powerglove. So it was kind of a similar idea, and it worked really well. It was fun.
All right, so how have your turnouts been? Because you guys are, like, I wouldn't consider you guys nerdy metal, but there's a huge following for you guys by now because you guys have about 3 albums and then one that just came out in Japan. So how have your turnouts been so far?
On this tour?
All the tours, period.
All the tours. I mean, really well. We actually just did our first headlining tour. I guess it was a co-headlining tour with a band called the Pro Men, and we weren't sure how it was going to do, and that was really our first test of of seeing what our draw was going to be. And yeah, I mean, most of the shows were about the lowest was like 200 people, and then to 400 people in most places. And we played our a venue called the Palladium in Worcester, Massachusetts, that's where they have New England Metal and Hardcore Festival. Yeah. And Bassil and I have been seeing metal bands there since we were about 13 years old, and we got to headline there for the first time, and it was just packed. There was like 400 people in there, and it felt really nice to see our draw go up to that point, because and hopefully we can get it even bigger. But if not, we've decided just to stay in our niche and just own it. We're gonna keep on. I think our next album is gonna be video games, and we're gonna keep on doing what we're doing. And we're not gonna try to be the biggest metal band in the world, or be as big as Iron Maiden or something. We're just we'd rather build up the cult following of and just meet every single fan that comes to our shows. Make them feel like they're a part of our show and part of the whole experience.
Has there been a show where you guys have felt was your most favorite show, where something stood out the most for you guys?
On this tour?
Well, overall, pretty much, or this tour as well.
That's really tough. I'd say, on this tour, playing our hometown was really, really fun. We started off at a venue that was literally across the street from where we live, which was really cool, because it was just like, a lot of our buddies came out, and it was just like a nice hometown vibe, and it was a really fun show, and it was sold out, so it was a great way to kick off the tour. And to be honest, I'd say my other favorite show of this tour so far is tonight. This was a really, really fun, crazy crowd. So yeah, those are my favorites so far on this tour. In general, it's hard to pick out a single favorite. There's been, it's too many shows overall. There's been great, but there's been great ones all over. So
yeah, I understand, because you guys been going on since 2008, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me in general, one of the most memorable shows we've ever done was our first show we ever played with Dragon Force in 2008. It was at a venue in Portland, Oregon, and previous to that, we've only did local shows, and we just embarked on our first small club tour, and we were playing bars. No one knew who we were. The turnouts were from 5 people to 100 people, so really small. And then we just got this offer from Herman to play the show in Portland, and we went from the previous day playing for 30 people to it was sold out, 1,500 people at the Roseland Theater.
Theater, yeah.
And it was overwhelming. It was just, we never played a crowd that size. The response was insane. We sold, I think, more merch than we ever have in our entire careers of that show. It was just it was ridiculous. It was completely unbelievable. The rush of energy we got was nuts. And I always knew this is what I wanted to do for my entire life, but that just kind of reaffirmed it.
That confirmed it, definitely.
And for recently, that headlining show we did in our hometown in May, it was fun. I remember at the end of Power Rangers, I just threw down my bass, and I just did a flip into the audience at the end. It was just so much fun, and I brought up all these kids onto the stage. A bunch of them had Power Rangers shirts on and stuff, and just seeing their faces, and I sent them all crowd surfing at the end, and that was great. I don't know. On that tour, almost every single day, I just flew into the crowd and crowd surfed. It's really fun.
A bit of background information from you guys. How did this band come together?
We actually all have been playing together in different bands and different iterations and everything since high school. And we used to play in a melodic death metal band called Revengeance back in the day. And this sort of just started off as a side project for fun. The very, very first thing, Alex sent me a recording he did, just guitar and some backing synths and stuff, of Take Up the Cross from Tales of Fantasia. And I was like, oh man, this is awesome. And I was like, oh dude, we should record a song together. And then he came over and we did Dr. Wily's theme and just threw it up for free online and stuff. And the thing is that project was started kind of gaining momentum as the the death metal band that we were in, that we were trying to make it and go and play shows, and everything was kind of fizzling out. So then we all just said, fuck it, let's just roll with this. This is really fun. So we started recording a bunch of songs and put out an EP, and started playing live in around, I think it was like 2005 was our first live show ever. So that's kind of how we like first got started off, just like, you know, putting songs up for free, and then, you know, playing a couple local gigs around Boston, and then we started going actually down to Baltimore a lot, and we played like, you know, like kind of got into the little like Baltimore nerd culture scene, and we played this convention called MagFest a bunch of times, and that sort of thrust us into the live world a little more. So it's really fun.
And did you guys ever imagine that this band Powerglove would get this far? How is it kind of so far? Is what you guys started in 2005, and it's 2012 now.
2002 is when we first
All right,
recorded.
2002 is 2012. Did you guys imagine you could get this far?
I mean, in the very beginning, no. We just figured, like, this is fun. We'll record some stuff and you know, just, like, have some fun with it and throw it up online. And, I mean, we've all had the attitude of just, like, you know, once we started seeing that people were into it and seeing people were interested, and we just had, like, a little forum online and just, like, put up MP3s on the website. And once that we saw people were excited about it, and they're like, oh, this is awesome. We're like, wait, like, so then once we started, you know, kind of moving forward with it, you know, we all kind of just had the attitude of, you know, let's just, like, do whatever we can with this. Let's take it as far as we possibly can. You know what I mean? It didn't even matter, like, you know, we didn't have any, like, specific goal of, like, oh, we need to get this bigger play. We'd just be like, oh man, we just got to do this. We got to put more songs. We got to get bigger. We got to go farther. You know, it's just like, it's just fun. You know, it was the excitement of actually having a band that, like, people are excited about, and that was just so exciting for us. That that fart, yes, exactly.
That's what I have to say to that.
Fart.
Yeah.
All right.
That sums it up right there.
All right, that sums it up. A fart.
Yep.
All right, and what about the inflatables? Who brought the idea for the inflatables for the shows?
The inflatables actually, how that started out was there's some show. There was a show we played in a video game store, where it was just like we were surrounded. It looked like a GameStop. It was a store called Game Underground, and we're just surrounded by video games. And we had some, like, plastic swords or something that some fans brought, and they threw them on the stage. And I remember I just took one and I just, like, bashed Chris over the head with it. And then he just took one of me and he started fighting me. And then the crowd just started chanting like fight, fight, fight. So we just had this, like, sword fight on stage, like, just, like, bashing each other and stuff. So then I just thought, and then there's a guy dressed up as Cloud from Final Fantasy VII and a guy dressed up as Sephiroth. And I brought that, and they had swords, like, you know, like the one, like, replicas of the ones in the game. And I brought them up on I guess not on stage, on floor. I brought them up on floor and made them fight while we played Birth of a God from Final Fantasy VII. So then when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's really cool. We should encourage audiences to have sword fights like every show. So then we just started doing that, and usually we also, we haven't been using it on this tour, but we brought like 100 pounds of Starburst candy. We throw out to people too.
I think we estimated that we're around 600 pounds deep into Starburst. So, like, you know, as a band by this time, because it's usually, like, you know, close to 100 pounds a tour. So yeah, I think we're near 600 pounds of Starburst total. That's kind of a fun mark.
All right, luckily I'm one of those fans that got the Starburst and the Power Sword. I got the Power Sword tonight, so I still have the Starburst from the first time I saw you guys with Arsis. I know, kind of weird that I kept them, but I didn't want to eat them because they were Power Gloves. Yeah, it's Power Glove. I gotta keep this as a souvenir. I didn't get a pick. I gotta keep this Starburst.
I don't think they go bad. Like, take a year. You can eat that, like, years